first off, training, I don't have to train this anymore, but this is the laser beam in front. And that puts the club right off my front toe. And what it does, it opens my hips and my chest and puts a lot of my weight in my front foot. And that's where I want to be. So now I can have the club head on my front toe, which should keep it nice and high. Or I can have the club head back a little bit, which should keep it nice and low. That's such a simple thing. It's just the setup, just practicing the setup and routine, first of all. Now, when it comes to getting really good at pitching, say from 5 yards to 14 yards, what I like to do is I like to put the club right here, and I'm going to practice my putting stroke. Here's my putting stroke. So if I was to putt, it would be arms just like this. Now, here's my backswing. So now, the moment I start my downswing, I'm actually not starting with the club, and I'm starting with my hip. So we talked about hip speed, right? Here's low speed. Here's my low speed. So I would sit here and work on this. Then here's my putting stroke. I can bend it later, but this is a different technique where I want to make sure that the other thing is I don't want to have too much steepness or too much shallowness. I'm going to make sure that I can see the club head be as level to the ground at the bottom of the arc versus this way or this way. I want it nice and level, and I can notice that by watching my shoulders stay level. And then I'm just going to take the putting stroke and then lead my hip. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Now, when I'm going to hit a 4-yard chip, I'm not going to have that full hip rotation. That's all I'm going to do. But that's a specialty shot. I want to train the motor pattern in my brain to make sure that I'm always rotating and I get all my energy towards the target. Because when I want to play a specialty shot, I can always have a shorter fall through and stop here. I can always do that. That's easy to do. So the way that I train 5 yards to 15 yards indoors, I just do this, back and through, back and through, back and through, back and through. So here, you probably don't have to go all the way. So this is how I would train 5 to 14 yards. And I'll demonstrate just by how little backstroke I have. I don't need any energy from the wrist cock. I don't need that energy because I'm just going to carry it 4 or 5 yards. And I'm going to have a nice slow backswing like I'm putting and start down my hip. That would have carried about 5 yards because the net is 3 yards and it was descending. So that's what I do for 5 to 14 yards. Now, when it comes to 15 to 24 yards, I'm just going to have a little bit longer backswing, still with the straight, without trying to force the wrist cock. If it happens, it happens. But I really want to focus on this start down here, down 1001, 1005. So just like I use this on the putting arm, you know, sometimes I do back and forth. Sometimes I start from scratch. We do the same thing here. I'll start from scratch. And what I'm doing when I actually hit the ball is I'm not looking at the ball. I'm looking at least 2 inches in front of the ball so that I can make sure that the club head hits that part of the grass. So nice slow backswing. Regulate the hip speed to go 16 yards. It's all about the hips leading. We easily got to 16 yards. Now for 25 to 34 yards, I simply just gonna take a little bit back a little bit further, not much, but really it's all about my hip speed and how far I follow through. But you notice my swing is very similar to that of the full swing. I'm not tumbling forward with my shoulders. It's so now 26 yards, 27 yards. Regulated hip speed, and I rotate a little bit further towards the target and finish. So that's how to train that piece. The other piece would be laser beam in front, all weights up here. Bend the right wrist and just work on shoulder, hip rotation. Here's hip rotation. 1001, 1002, 1003. One 1001, 1002, 1003.